Cool. We're recording. So, little orientation to practice for this morning is simply this: the notion that it's a big claim, but I'm going to say potentially, when we talk about meta skills, overriding skills that kind of facilitate other skills, I'm going to suggest maybe attention is the meta skill of meta skills, the ability to govern and guide attention facilitates everything else. Whether we're talking, as always, whether we're talking about yoga as solely a movement practice, or whether we're talking about it as a bigger kind of practice of being an effective human, I think working with attention is massive. And something somewhat random sparked this thought, and that's I was reading a fiction book, a spy story, and the lass in it is a police officer, but she previously had a relationship with a hacker, and she gets in touch with him for some help with something. And it makes some comment about how they could have stayed in touch via Facebook. They could have sort of maintained their friendship via Facebook if he wasn't as aware as he is of how attention is mined. And I thought that was a really potent and interesting statement, that with all of how we interact online with social media, even Google Ads and so forth, they have professionals, cognitive psychs, who are responsible for mining your attention, because if they can govern your attention, they can sell you product, whatever it is. And it's in everything, you know. Even when I like to open the news app and check in on what's going on, all the kind of sensationalist clickbait titles that grab your attention, even if you weren't planning to get sucked in that moment, you can. So just in that regard, being able to govern your attention is so potent. And when we're talking about movement, I've been doing a lot of reading at the moment on motor plasticity. So basically changing the central nervous system, the brain and spinal cord's ability to govern movement, as well as generally neural plasticity, the ability to change the wiring of our central nervous system to a degree. Is that there are a couple of key things that govern it, and the main thing is attention. I'm also reading at the moment a book called The Sports Gene, and it kind of delves more deeply into the notion. If you've read Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, he really popularized this idea of the 10,000 hour rule, and that is the notion that you can attain mastery in anything by doing 10,000 hours of practice. And like so many of these things, it just is a really arbitrary number. And David Epstein, the author of The Sports Gene, takes that argument further and says, well, it's not, which I think many of us who had any sort of a clue about these things, which I think we all do to a degree, you go, well, it's not that simple. You can't just fart around at something for 10,000 hours and suddenly become a master. Now, of course, if you do 10,000 hours of something, you probably got pretty serious at some point. You're probably not farting around anymore. But also Epstein takes it further and says, well, no, it's 10,000 hours of deliberate practice. And that deliberate practice has certain factors to it. And the key thing is attention. Then I go as far as saying, you know, generally in life terms, our ability to, I scribbled something down before, where we consistently place our attention will determine the quality and nature of our lives. And of course, it's not the only thing. There are a lot more factors to the nature and the quality of our lives. But as we've talked about in previous weeks, with the fact that there's where you are and what you're experiencing, just like in this practice, a certain pose will exert certain effects on you. But within that experience, there's a range of what you can experience, which comes down to how and where you place your attention. So I think it's a really valuable thing that we do in yoga. And one of the key things about how we practice attention in yoga, or the tool that yoga gives us to practice attention, is that in a sense, it's easy to be really attentive when you're doing something difficult that gives you a lot of sensory stimulus and is potentially dangerous. So if you're doing a workout, if you're throwing around a lot of weight, you get an intense physical stimuli, you're feeling a lot of feelings. You're also throwing big weights around. So there is potential danger, and that drives focus. Like it's one of the beauties of that kind of workout, that it can really put you in the zone because it drives focus. So in a sense, and I'm not saying I try and make yoga boring, but in a sense, it's harder to be really attentive when we're bored. So with the example of being online and social media, like I've just finished exams for the semester. When I'm on the computer to study, or when I have been in this time, there's no chance of me being distracted or sucked into some whatever, reading random news stories or following social media posts. Like I'm on to study. So it's going to be my notes on the computer and my notebook. It drives focus. Earlier in the semester, there's a good chance if I'm online studying, I'm going to pause the lecture and end up down some rabbit hole. So in a yoga practice, because it's slow, because it's relatively simple and it doesn't drive focus in the same way as, for example, a session at the gym does, it's easy to let your mind wander. And that's part of the beauty of it, that you get to govern your attention in the simplicity of relatively simple shapes and in the simplicity of the rhythms of your breath and sitting with the experience of you. So as always, I invite you to that. If you do nothing else in the next hour, simply keep your attention coming back time and again. And it's not that you hold your attention perfectly. It's not that your mind never wanders. We have the notion that if you meditate effectively, your mind never wanders. I always call bullshit on that notion. I think that the art of meditation is that you catch it when your mind does wander, because your mind will wander no matter how good you are, how practiced you are in meditation. Your mind will wander, and the art is that you catch it when it does and you bring it back. So time and time again, be attentive to the simple experience of your body, the sensations of your body in the pose, the ongoing rhythmical simple experience of your breath. Like become wrapped in that and kind of knowing how complex that can be when you're really paying attention. And then in that, you might simply pay attention to how your mind moves and how it can become distracted. Please lie on your backs. Take a moment, lie back and simply take a comfortable position. So it might be a Shavasana position, that your legs are stretched out, your arms are on the ground beside you. If you'll find greater comfort lying on your back, you might bend your knees up, place the soles of your feet flat on the ground, and let your knees rest together. And as you first arrive, simply start to tune into your awareness. It might become a bit of a trip, but first you might even notice, like become aware of your awareness. That might sound like double talk. And then if you find if you find that notion of just being aware of your awareness elusive, you can place your awareness in anything. You can use your body as a tool for, quote unquote meditation. Be aware of the sensations of your body. Things like the weight of your body, the pressure where your body rests on the ground. Might be the feel of your clothes on your skin. And you might be noticing more deeply the feel of your muscles. Notice where there are muscles in your body that have tension. Or similarly, you might notice the muscles that feel soft and relaxed and easy. Then even if as I know at least a few of you are, if you've got soreness from your training this week, you can use that as a focus, as a tool of awareness. Stay aware of the experience of where there's soreness, or similarly where there isn't soreness in your body. And then start to use your breath as a tool, as an anchor for your awareness. Start to notice the length of your breath, length of your in-breath, and the length of your out-breath. Notice the sensations of your breath within your body. Notice where your in-breath fills to. Does it move down into your belly? Does it mainly expand your ribs, or does it fill up into the spaces of your chest? And then start to guide your breath. Start to fill each in-breath more fully down into the spaces of your belly. So take a few really good breaths, thinking of breathing down, of filling down right to the base of your belly. And with that, you can start to lengthen your out-breath. You could also kind of sigh your out-breath out. And then please place your hands on your belly. So simply rest your palms on your abdomen, slightly down toward the base of your abdomen. And take a few breaths here, thinking of really filling your in-breath down and out into your hands. So you're still, as you've been doing, focusing on breathing into your belly. But here, especially with the emphasis of filling into the front of your abdomen, filling into your hands. You might even, where your hands rest on your belly, you might even feel your fingers slightly spread as your in-breath fills. And from where your hands are, slide them out to the sides a little. So they're kind of at the sides of your waist. Now, still breathing down into your belly, shift the emphasis so that your in-breath feels like it fills out into the sides of your belly more. Still breathing deep down into your belly. But now almost feel like you breathe out into the sides of your waist. Now, shift your awareness. You could, but you don't have to. You could slide your fingers beneath your back, so your fingers rest between the ground and your lower back. Now shift the emphasis of your in-breath into the back of your body. Still breathe down into your belly. Now think of filling your lower back out into the ground. So really focus the fullness of your in-breath into the back of your waist. Still down into your belly, but now with greater emphasis into the back of your body. And lastly, take a few breaths here, seeking to combine those three. So focus on filling down into your belly as you have been, but now feel as if you create equal expansion at the front of your belly, the sides of your waist, and into the back of your waist. And keep your attention, keep your awareness with the sensations of your trunk. And with, on each subsequent in-breath, finding more of that fullness of expansion throughout the circumference of your waist. Now please roll onto one side and curl into a ball. Then press up and over and come to all fours. Set your hands directly beneath the center of your shoulder joints. Set your knees directly beneath the center of your hip joints. And begin to move through cat-cow. Keep that same fullness of breath. As you breathe in, take your sitting bones back and up. Look forward and draw your shoulder blades down in your back. You breathe out. Draw your front ribs in, curl your tailbone under. Inhale, take your sitting bones back and up. Look forward, start to extend your spine. Exhale, curl your sitting bones under, curl your tailbone under, scoop up through the front of your abdomen, flex your spine. Inhale, sitting bones back and up, extend your spine, lengthen the front of your body. Exhale, sitting bones under, scoop your belly, flex deep into your spine, push your hands into the ground. Couple more times. Inhale, extend your spine. Exhale, flex your spine. Inhale, extend. Perhaps find just a little bit more movement. Exhale, flex. Inhale, come to neutral. Tuck your toes. And exhale, press back to down dog. As always, as you first find down dog, put at least a little bend in your knees. And let your heels lift off the ground a little. And depending on how particularly your hamstrings, particularly how the backs of your thighs feel, you can take more knee bend and more heel lift to facilitate that. Push the ground away and get long through the fronts of your armpits. So seek to make one long line from your hands on the ground to your sitting bones in the air. And you might slightly feel as if you deepen your chest toward your thighs to find more open out through the front of your armpits. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, walk your hands to the back of your mat. Have your feet at center of hip width apart. Slide your hands about halfway up your shins and lengthen your spine forward. Put a hand on your lower back and feel that your lower back is a tiny bit concave to the touch. Take your hand back down, take a breath in. And exhale, fold it. Slide your hands back up your shins. Inhale, lengthen your spine forward. Exhale, folding. Once more, halfway lift. Inhale, perhaps straighten your knees just a little more. You'll get more stretch through your hamstrings. Exhale, folding. Hold your hands with your opposite elbow and let your torso, head and arms hang heavy. Now again, you can straighten your knees more for more stretch through your hammies. So we're just getting started. Or you can bend your knees more to allow your torso to hang more heavily. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, release your hands to the ground. Slide your hands up your shins. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, walk your hands forward, down dog. Inhale deeply. Exhale evenly. Breathe in deeply. Again, try and fill through the entire circumference of your waist. Exhale, release your knees to the mat, come to all fours. Just like before, cat-cow. Inhale, take your sitting bones back and up. Extend your spine, look forward. Exhale, roll your sitting bones under, flex your spine, push the ground away. Inhale, sitting bones back and up, extend your spine. Exhale, flex, really feel the movement, especially through your lower back. Again, inhale, take your sitting bones up, back and up, extend your spine. And keep the shape of your spine. Bend your elbows and take your chest and chin toward the ground. Keep your butt high in the air. Then stretch out, take your hips to the ground. Stretch your arms down behind you and interlace your fingers at the base of your back. Simply roll your shoulders back away from the ground and reach your knuckles back toward your heels. Perhaps start to straighten your arms a little. And your head's now gently lifted off the ground. Take your shoulders toward the back of your body more. Reach your knuckles down toward your heels more. And then release your head to the ground. Bring your arms to a cactus shape. So elbows out level with your shoulders, elbows at a right angle. And do two things. Lift your elbows back away from the ground and press your hands back away from the ground more. So lift your elbows up off the ground and press your hands back more. That's it, yep. So likely you're feeling it light up across the back of your shoulder blades. Great, release your arms down behind you again. Interlace your fingers at the base of your back. Take your shoulders toward the back of your body and reach your knuckles back toward your heels. Feel your head lift up off the ground. Keep your feet down. Press the tops of your feet into the ground. There. Can you lift a little higher? Take your shoulders back a little more. Reach knuckles toward heels a little more. Good. Release down. Release your forehead to the ground. Again, bring your arms to a cactus shape. And as before, now just in your arms. Take your elbows back away from the ground and then try and press your hands back a little further back than the line of your elbows. That's it. Well, good. Keep your head on the ground for this one. So again, elbows back, hands back more, external rotation of your upper arms. Stretch your arms back, interlace your fingers at the base of your back. Take your shoulders back once more. Then lift head and shoulders off the ground, reach knuckles in the direction of your heels. Good. From here, keep your torso off the ground. Release your hands to the ground just beside your chest. And use your arms to gently push a little deeper into Cobra. So to the extent, to the degree that's right for you. Keep that same work from before, that you're taking your shoulders toward the back of your body. Keep pressing your feet into the ground. And perhaps curl a little deeper if that works, if that's good in your spine. Take a breath in. And take your sitting bones back, come back to all fours. Tuck your toes. And press to down dog. Take a few breaths here, and you might walk out your heels. So as you breathe in, lift 2 heels. As you breathe out, take 1 heel to the ground and bend the opposite knee. Breathe in, lift 2 heels. And alternate. Now take the other heel down while bending the opposite knee. Do that twice more. So lift 2 heels up high on your in-breath. Exhale, take 1 heel down and bend the opposite knee. Once more. Inhale, lift 2 heels high. Exhale, take the other side. 1 heel down, opposite knee bends. This time, inhale, lift 2 heels. And exhale, walk your feet to the front of your mat. Halfway lift. Inhale, slide your hands up, lengthen your spine forward. Exhale, fold it. Rise up. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Look up. Exhale, release your arms down beside you. Have your feet center of hip width apart. Inhale, raise your arms. Exhale, drop your left hand to your left thigh. Push down through 2 feet, especially your right foot, and get taller through your spine. And exhale, deepen the side bend. Slide your left hand further down the outside of your left thigh. Keep pushing down through 2 feet to lengthen away through your spine. Really reach all the way to your right fingertips, feeling the stretch down this top side of your body. Take 2 more deep breaths here. And inhale, come up, raise both arms. Other side, drop your right hand to your right thigh. Press down through 2 feet, get taller through your spine. And exhale, deepen the side bend, sliding your right hand further down the outside of your right thigh. Keep pressing through 2 feet. Keep the sense of your spine getting longer into the side bend. 2 more breaths here. Reach more fully to your left fingertips. Inhale, come up, raise 2 arms. Exhale, release your arms down beside you. Inhale, raise your arms, look up. And as before, exhale, take your hands down, interlace your fingers at the base of your back. Roll your shoulders back and down, inhale. Bend your knees a little, exhale, fold in, pressing your hands away and up. Pause here, inhale. Pause here, exhale. Inhale. Exhale, release your hands to the ground. Halfway lift. Inhale, slide your hands up, lengthen your spine away. Exhale, take your hands to the ground. Step your left foot back. Drop your left knee to the ground. Inhale, come up, reach up. Exhale, deepen into the lunge and look, keep the lift of your lower belly and the relative length of your lower back. Breathe deeply. And perhaps with your in-breath, you find, with each out-breath, you find a little more depth into the lunge. Reaching through your arms. Take one more deep breath in here. Down dog, plant your hands, step back. Inhale. Exhale, take your knees to the ground, untuck your toes. Like cat-cow. Inhale, sitting bones back and up, extend your spine. Keep that shape, bend your elbows, take your chest and chin low to the ground. And stretch out your legs. Inhale, roll your shoulders back, come to cobra. Pause here. Breathe in. And exhale, back to all fours, tuck your toes, lift your knees off the ground. Down dog. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, step your left foot between your hands. Drop your right knee to the ground. Low lunge. Inhale, come up. Raise two arms. Exhale, perhaps sink a little deeper into the lunge. As before, breathe deeply, fully, and evenly. Keep a sense of a slight lift of your lower belly and greater relative length of your lower back. Good. Deep breath in. Exhale, take your hands to the ground, step your back foot forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Fold in, exhale. Inhale, come up, raise your arms, look up. Exhale, take your arms down the side. Inhale, raise your arms, look up. Exhale, clasp your hands at the base of your back. Roll your shoulders back, inhale deeply. Soften your knees, exhale, fold it. Inhale. Exhale, press your arms away a little more. Inhale. Exhale, release your hands to the ground. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, take your hands to the ground, step your left foot back. Crescent lunge, inhale, rise up, raise your arms up. Keep your back legs strong. Like you did before, keep lifting your lower belly, lengthen your spine. Perhaps find more depth into your front knee bend. Take another full breath here. Straighten your back leg a little more. That's it. Inhale. Down dog, plant your hands, step back. Inhale. All fours, exhale, take your knees to the ground, untuck your toes. Like before. Inhale, extend your spine, sitting bones back and up. Keep that. Exhale, bend your elbows, take your chest and chin low. Stretch out your legs, cobra. Roll your shoulders back, rise up. Pause here, exhale. Keep drawing your shoulders back. Inhale. Down dog. Exhale, tuck your toes, lift your knees. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, step your left foot between your hands, crescent lunge. Rise up, raise your arms. Pause here. Work with those three elements. Straighten your back leg. Lengthen your spine. Deepen your lunge. You notice those three all work against each other. So as you deepen the lunge, your back knee might tend to bend more. Work it straighter. Good. Inhale. Exhale, take your hands to the ground, step your back foot forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold in. Rise up. Inhale, raise your arms, look up. Exhale, release your arms down. Inhale, raise your arms, look up. Exhale, fold in. Take your hands to the ground. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, hands down, step your left foot back, crescent lunge. Inhale, rise up and raise your arms. Like you did before, clasp your hands at the base of your back. Take your shoulders back, lift the top of your chest, and then fold in here. Keep your back leg strong so you don't lose your balance like me. Good. Keep pressing your arms away behind you, up toward the ceiling. Press a little deeper. Exhale, release your hands. Take your left fingertips to the ground on the inside of your right foot. Inhale, twist right. Raise your right arm and look up along it. Fantastic. So keep your back leg strong. Lengthen your spine as an extension of your back leg. Then think of lifting weight out of your left hand on the ground to spin open more through your ribcage up toward the ceiling more. Inhale. Exhale, take your hands to the ground, drop your back knee to the ground. Inhale, rise up and raise your arms. And exhale, deepen your lunge a little. Again, inhale, lengthen your spine. And exhale, drop your right forearm to your right upper thigh and start to side bend. Good. You can also take your right fingertips to the ground beside your hip and walk them away to find that side bend. So, Lucas, just the other way. That's the one. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, really reach through your top fingertips and really breathe down that side of your body, that's stretching. Good. Inhale, come up and raise two arms. Down dog, plant your hands, step back. Take a deep breath here. And another deep breath in, inhale. Exhale, step your left foot between your hands. Crescent lunge, rise up and raise two arms. And exhale, release your hands down, clasp your hands at the base of your back. Take your shoulders back and down, lift the top of your chest. Humble warrior, fold in, pressing your arms up toward the ceiling. Keep your back legs strong. Good, and balance is always tricky in this shape. So don't stress if that's the case, keep working with it. Great, inhale. Exhale, release your hands. Take right fingertips to the ground inside left foot. Twist up toward the ceiling. Reach your left arm up. Good. Strengthen your back leg. Strengthen and straighten it. Yeah, and then lengthen your spine as an extension of your back leg. Think of, that's it, Tony. Lift weight out of your hand on the ground to spin open more through your rib cage, to spin more fully open toward the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, take your hands down, drop your back knee down. Inhale, rise up and raise two arms. Exhale, sink a little deeper into the lunge if that's available. Inhale. And exhale, side bend in the direction of your front leg, dropping either forearm to upper thigh or fingertips to the ground beside your hip. You can then, again, walk your fingertips away. Aim here, your weight should remain in your feet and isn't so much in your hand. Naturally, you balance a bit off that hand, but ultimately you could take it off the ground. Keep deepening the lunge. Keep deepening the side bend. Inhale, come up, raise two arms. Down dog, plant your hands, step back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, step your right foot between your hands. Drop your back knee down. Come up, like we've done before. Clasp your hands at the base of your back. Roll your shoulders back, reach down and away behind you, and then deepen the lunge. Keep working to find greater depth in the lunge, and then start ever so slightly to curl back through your upper back. So take your shoulders back and down, reach back and away behind you. So you're really stretching across your chest. You might even look up slightly. Good. Breathe a little deeper in the shape. And can you, as you breathe deeper, sink deeper into the lunge? And also work your shoulders back and down more. Great. Release your hands. Raise them up. Lift your back knee up. Now take a deep breath in. Strengthen your back leg. Then turn your torso in the direction of your front leg. Release. I'll show you a different angle in a sec. Release your right hand to your outer back thigh. Like so. And start to turn your torso. Keep reaching up through your left fingertips. This one's hard work. I know that takes a bit of getting used to. Strengthen your back leg. There, and can you turn your left side torso toward your front leg more? Great. Breathe in deeply. And exhale, lean forward. Take your left elbow to your outer right thigh. And join your palms. Keep your back leg strong. Start to twist more. You might even turn your head whoop, to look up toward the ceiling. Great. Take a breath in. And release your hands to the ground and step back to down dog. Take a deep breath. And take another deep breath. And inhale. Step your left foot between your hands. Release your right knee to the ground. Come up, low lunge. And as before, clasp your hands at the base of your back. Take your shoulders back and down. Reach your hands back and away on the diagonal. And start to look for that slight deepening of your lunge. Or starting to turn your chest up toward the ceiling more. So really reach back and away. Find more stretch across your chest. There, absolutely. I think you're all doing it, but you might be looking up slightly. Great. Release your hands. Lift your back knee off the ground. And raise your arms up. Turn your torso in the direction of your front leg. Take your left hand to your outer back thigh. So, here's one angle. Even turn your head to look back along your back shoulder. Really keep reaching up through your right arm. Good. And if you're finding this hard work, it just is. Reach your right arm toward the ceiling. Right. Come into the twist. Come forward. Take right elbow outside, left thigh. Join your palms in prayer. And start to turn your torso up toward the ceiling. Keep your back leg really strong. Right. Take a last breath in here. Come to down dog, plant your hands, step back. And release to child's pose. Bring your knees to the ground. Take your big toes together, take your knees a little wider apart, and sink your hips back. Release your forehead to the ground. And as always, some of you, your butt will rest on your heels easily. For others, use your hands to push down and forward to help sink your hips back toward your heels. If you can be absolutely effortless in the shape, then do that. But also, if it requires that bit of effort to work your hips toward your heels, don't hesitate to do that. And deepen your breath as fully as you can. Come back to all fours. Center your hips directly over your knees. Then keeping your hips over your knees, start to walk your hands forward, staying up on fingertips. Start to deepen your chest toward the ground. And really press down through your fingertips and think of lifting your armpits up. Take a breath in, walk your hands away more, and release your forehead to the ground. So again, your hips stay centered over your knees. Your chest starts to deepen toward the ground. Yeah, and keep pressing down through your hands. So stay really active through your arms. Good. Nice. Walk your hands back in and come back to child's pose. Bring your big toes together, your knees wider apart, and sink your hips to or toward your heels. Breathe deeply and come back to that sense that you breathe through the entire circumference of your waist. And here you might create more emphasis on breathing into the back of your waist. Great. Sit up on your heels for a sec. So we'll take the same shape again. And as before, you might go fingertips on the ground, hips over knees, and deepen. So you're looking to find more extension through your spine. The other variant you can take is to have your elbows on the ground at center of shoulder width apart. Walk them away again, your hips stay over your knees. And you start to bring your hands in toward your upper back. It can be a really nice, you then get a shorter lever here to work the stretch, the opening of your shoulders. So set that up for yourself. Again, center your hips over your knees. And either take the first variant with arms long, or set your elbows on the ground at center of shoulder width apart. Start to walk your elbows away to deepen your chest toward the ground. Yeah. And you might notice with that shorter lever of just your upper arm, you might get better access to the stretch around your armpit. That's all entirely individual, what works best for you. Great. And release this shape. And come onto your back. Sit up and sit your hips over to one side. Bring your legs around in front of you and set your feet flat on the ground. Scoot your hips toward your heels a little. Then lie back. Good. Bridge pose. Press down through your feet and press your pelvis high toward the ceiling. Kind of rock side to side and wriggle your shoulders deeper underneath you so you become really broad across your chest. Then you might reach down behind you and interlace your fingers behind you, as we've been doing. Keep really actively pressing your shoulders back into the ground. So as much as you're aiming to press your pelvis high in this shape, also think of making that apex, the middlemost point of your chest, high as well by pressing back through your shoulders. You might even, to deepen the chest across your stretch, the stretch across your chest, also press your wrists back into the ground a little. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, lower down. Take a couple of breaths here. And again, deepen your breath as fully as possible. Look for that fullest expansion of your in-breath through the entire circumference of your waist. As before, you might put more emphasis into your lower back, into filling out into your lower back with each in-breath. Take another round of bridge. Press down through your feet and back through your shoulders. And press your pelvis up high. Again, work your shoulders deeper under you, and you might interlace your fingers behind you. Interlace, clasp your hands. Again, keep actively drawing your shoulders back into the ground to broaden across your chest. And stay active, driving down through your heels to lift your pelvis high. And amid that, breathe as deeply and as fully as possible. Take a last full in breath here. And as you breathe out, lower down. Take a few breaths here. And hug your legs into you. Bend your knees in. Wrap your arms around your shins and hug in. Keep your head resting back to the ground. And draw in tight. Great. Release your feet to the ground. Now, if you've got a space of bare wall close to you, move to that space of bare wall. If you don't stress. There's a variant either way. So figure 4 pose. If you've got a space at the wall, then come to the wall and get your butt all the way to the wall. So your sitting bones are on the wall. Now again, if you don't have a free spot at the wall, that works as well. Come to figure 4 pose. So bring your right leg in, take the base of your right shin to the front of your left thigh and keep your foot flexed. Now, we do this all the time without a wall. So if you haven't got a wall, reach through and hold the shin of your underneath leg and hug in. If you're at the wall, simply bend your top foot, or bend your top leg, and that will start to bring your knee in towards you. And a little might be plenty here. Now notice, if I keep going, see what happens at my hips? It will roll my hips away from the ground. So I can come to somewhere in the middle where I've bent my leg, my hips have moved away from the ground, and I'm gently going to try and take my pelvis back to the ground, my hips back to the ground. That will deepen the stretch. So work here. Keep ever so gently dropping your hips back into the ground. And as you find that the sensation of stretch becomes easier, you might bend that top leg more. Again, it might drive your hips away from the ground more. Then make them heavier, drop them back into the ground, and that will deepen the stretch. Breathe deeply and fully. So keep, again, can you keep guiding your attention back to the sensations of your body, to the sensations of your breath, even in simplicity, even when you're doing something where not much is changing moment to moment. And you stay with it, and then you'll notice those subtlest changes that do happen moment to moment. Change sides to release out the stretch. Stretch your leg back up the wall and change over. This time, bend your left leg to the base of your left shin to the front of your right thigh. And bend just a little. Again, pay attention to your hips. So as you bend, your hips drive away from the ground. Find a point and then gently work your hips back into the ground. So you can absolutely press this knee of the top leg, press that slightly back toward the wall. And if it helps, you can gently press with your hand. Just really subtle with that if you are. And again, with your attention on what's going on in your body, you might notice this soften and ease out, so you can bend your top leg a little more, your hips might rise up a little, then work them back toward the ground to access the stretch. Keep the flex in this top foot. Breathe more deeply and more fully. And again, to come out of this, stretch your leg up the wall. Change sides. Do this again each side. Bend your right leg, set up the right side. Place the base of your shin to the front of your left thigh, and again, slide your left foot down the wall, even a tiny bit, where that causes your hips to rise up away from the ground. Sink them, weight them back into the ground. Breathe deeply and fully. And again, as you're really attentive, as you're really attentive to your breath throughout the stretch, you might notice the stretch, a greater sense of yielding. And with that, you might be able to deepen the stretch further. Again, combine more bend of your top leg with weighting your hips down toward the ground. Take a few deeper breaths here. With each in-breath, can you breathe more deeply into your belly and more fully through the entire circumference of your waist. Come out of this shape, stretch your top leg and change to the second side. Cross your left leg on top. Bend in. Again, work that combination of top leg bend And still weighting your hips into the ground. And the focus on the depth, fullness, and evenness of your breath. Just like before. So even if you just focus on your breath, I'd put good odds on the fact that your body will yield into the stretch more if you're just focusing on the quality of your breath. So like before, can you breathe down into your belly more fully? Can you fill more fully through the entire circumference of your waist? And release this stretch. Stretch your top leg out on the wall. And from here, you can either be in legs up the wall pose. You can simply stretch your legs up the wall, release your arms to the ground beside you. And you might put a little bend in your knees in legs up the wall pose. The other option is to wriggle away from the wall, angle away, and release into Shavasana. And it depends entirely on where you feel really good. So legs up the wall can be a fantastic, it can feel really relaxing. It can also quite effectively facilitate drainage. So say you've done a WOD, done a session that's particularly lactic. Well, you know, generally speaking, you can spend some time with your legs up the wall, and that will facilitate drainage of all the waste products of the processes, the repair processes that go on after a workout. Here, simply stay aware of your breathing, stay attentive to the sensations of your breath in your body. As you're doing that, as you're here, you might notice little spots of tension within your body still. Aim to let them dissolve or soften. Take a few deeper breaths here. And please roll onto one side and curl into a ball. Take a couple of moments here, still aware of your breath. And please press your way up and take a seat. I'll stop the recording.